So, I've done my 12 months on YouTube. It's like a prison sentence coming to an end. No, this is just like another one of the quarterly roundup sort of videos. I'm not going to make any big sort of grand dramatic channel announcements on this one. My 12 months on YouTube sort of rolled around at the weekend. Posted my first video on November the 11th, and that was on Saturday last weekend. In fact, I was away at a family gathering. It was actually my dad's 92nd birthday the week before. Hi, Dad. So we had a bit of a family gathering, a bit of a family bash up north, which was very nice. Most of the family could make it, so it was really nice to get together, have a bit of, reflection upon what we've been doing. And that's kind of what I'm going to do in this video as well. Just, as I say, 12 months on YouTube seems to have flown by. It really has. And during that 12 months I've learned an awful lot, I've spent an awful lot, and it's cost me an awful lot. There's no getting away from the fact that shooting YouTube videos at this sort of level regularly is time consuming, it's expensive in terms of money, it slows me down in terms of when I'm doing videos of work projects, work jobs we might call them. It really slows me down. Can you see that? By the way, I always do that. Little trestle desk build. We've got another one of these to do. I did a 3-part video series on this about 4 months ago, and that took me, it was 3 parts, about 35 minutes of video, or an hour as you'd call it in television land, and that took me a week to do. It's not difficult, but there's lots of explaining on how everything goes together to be done. This one, you'll be shocked to hear I'm actually stalled because the designers haven't quite made a decision on something. But this one, apart from that, I haven't really been shooting video on it because it's very similar to the previous one. And I've banged this out in a couple of days, so you can't generally afford to take a 2 days money spread over a week. That's like a 40% pay cut. I can't generally do that for very long before it becomes unsustainable. And obviously throughout the year I've improved the overall look and feel of the channel, I think, by investing in a bit more gear, a bit more techie stuff, computers and software to make the editing faster. Still immensely time consuming editing video. I've got better at it. I've got faster at it. I never found better. It's getting, once you're in the groove, it goes pretty well. What's really been interesting over the last 12 months is that I'm still no clearer, still none the wiser about where my efforts need to go. My first video I posted a year ago was my shaker style panel doors video. That was shot on my phone at the time, not the current phone, and that's still my most popular, my most viewed video on YouTube. Literally shot on my phone, 148,000 some views on it. Pretty amazing. The next most popular, the Festool Cheap Tool Track Saw series, almost matches that. Still not quite as many as that one in single video, but the first episode of the Festool Cheap Tool Track Saw is the next most watched video, and the third most popular, not far behind that one, is my cheap bandsaw video. Now that I threw that together in literally about an hour. Excuse me. So it's really hard to know where to put your efforts, where to put your energies, when things like doing videos of the work jobs, the work projects, a lot of people find those really interesting, especially the installs, but it really slows me down. It really does. Whereas, silly little videos like the bandsaw thing are, more popular than many, and they take almost no time to produce. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure out that balance. I'm no nearer to understanding why some are so popular and others aren't. The 5-part series that you sweat over gets fewer views, or maybe as many as the ones that you bang out and sort of forget about. But going forwards, obviously the year-long experiment on YouTube actually runs to the end of the year. So I'm going to continue with that, and I'll make any sort of bigger decisions at the end of the year. I've got a new series starting at the end of this week, which is a bit more seasonally themed, let's say, and that's going to run out to the end of the year. I've got a few other videos sort of in the can that will come through in the new year, and then I'll make sort of big proper decisions about where the channel goes and what I have to do to keep things ticking along. I mentioned it's expensive to produce these things. It's actually cost me 5 figures. Well, let's say it's cost me close to £16,000 to do YouTube for this year. That's not just money that I've spent on gear and equipment and stuff, but actually, lost earnings in terms of things just taking, more than half as long again, more than twice as long, I should say, to produce the same amount of work that I would have done much faster otherwise. That's not sustainable. I've got to figure out some way. Like every YouTuber's dilemma, of course, is that you've got to try and figure out a way of not making yourself any less popular, whilst also trying to make some money out of this. I've deliberately not monetized the videos because in this year, because I was starting out and I was building something. So obviously we'll have to do that. I'm making a little bit of money out of my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for everybody who supports me through Patreon, and also through affiliate links. But again, that's all sort of pocket money, pales in comparison to what it's actually cost. And again, just to talk about the costs a little bit. Again, this isn't me sort of moaning and going, "Oh, poor me," went into this with my eyes and my wallet wide open. But for example, if you were going to make a 10-minute video, how much would you expect that to cost you? Well, 20 quid, 30, 50 quid seems reasonable, doesn't it, for a 10-minute video? Well, I've done 140 or so of those, so there's 7,000 gone. If it's more like 100 quid, well, that's 14,000. So you see how it all starts to add up. Again, this isn't me complaining about it. It's just how it is. These quarterly update videos are for other people. Not necessarily for you guys, my audience, although I appreciate you watching them and subscribing, of course. It's more for other YouTubers or people who are interested in starting a YouTube channel. There is very little information out there about what's involved and what the costs are. So yes, fascinating year, not over yet, but 12 months on YouTube has gone incredibly well. 12,200 odd subscribers. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for sharing this journey with me. I know some of you have been with me from the start. I think it took me 3 months to get 500 subscribers, so to get 12,000 throughout the course of the year is pretty amazing. Over 5 million minutes of video watch, which is astonishing, and 1 million plus individual views in 12 months. That's pretty fantastic. But anyway, that's the state of play for the moment. 12 months on YouTube, it's been quite a ride. Fascinating in lots of different ways, and hopefully you'll join me for the next few months and going on into the future. Look forward to seeing you then. Take care.